Boulevard and online at amimaging.com. A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and March Madness is here, and Koppel is ready to rock and roll. We just closed the books on a tremendous February, and we're locked and loaded for a big March. True 0% APR is happening right now at Koppel on select new models. Koppel also has over 10,500 off list on new select models. So please stop on by and see what confident driving and confident buying is all about. We're right down 144th Street or online at koppelcars.com. All deals with the roof credit, 0% is standalone.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call today at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Outside is where winter adventure unfolds. On frozen lakes, icy landscapes, and snow-covered slopes, feeling the cold air rush by as you race downhill. The freedom of gliding with ease and the warmth of being together. From epic sled rides to the fun of ice fishing, it's all right here beneath Nebraska skies. Start your winter adventure at yournebraskaparks.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Associations and this station.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and March Madness is here, and Koppel is ready to rock and roll. We just closed the books on a tremendous February, and we're locked and loaded for a big March. True 0% APR is happening right now at Koppel on select new models. Koppel also has over 10,500 off list on new select models. So please stop on by and see what confident driving and confident buying is all about. We're right down 144th Street or online at koppelcars.com. All deals with the roof credit, 0% is standalone.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through April 1st is $1 off all pasta, $2 off spaghetti sauce, and special discounts on hamburgers. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney and Lincoln, or also at 168th and Maple Streets in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town. Fleet Feet Lincoln is excited for the upcoming spring season and the warmer temps, and they want you to get outside and be active. Fleet Feet's Fit ID process takes a free 3D image of your feet to help runners and walkers alike find comfortable tennis shoes and inserts that ease pain associated with plantar fasciitis, bunions, and more. Get back on your feet this spring with a trip to Fleet Feet, open 7 days a week at 77th and Pioneers.
Hog Wild's giant stuffed baked potatoes are anything but basic and really hit the spot when you're craving a little comfort food. Nothing is more satisfying than a Hog Wild baked potato loaded with butter, sour cream, cheddar cheese, bacon bits, and chives. Add your choice of a Hog Wild house smoked meat like pulled pork, chicken, or brisket for a little extra. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
It's time for Outside the Box with Lincoln Stars head coach Rocky Russo and Lincoln Stars broadcaster Joel Norman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back on the air here, it's Outside the Box as we chat Lincoln Stars hockey here on 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Joel Norman, joined by the head coach of your Lincoln Stars, Rocky Russo. And Rocky, it's been a couple of weeks since we've been in here. Good to be back. Good to be chatting with you. And coming off a fun win this past Saturday against the Des Moines Buccaneers, back on track with that 6-2 victory.
Yeah, it was. It's been a couple weeks. Obviously, we had a a Monday game on St. Patrick's Day, and last week we had a lot going on throughout the course of the week, and made it tough to get in here to the studio to get the show going. But we're happy to be back, and a lot of fun alumni news from the last couple weeks. We've had 3 guys sign NHL contracts. Noah Laba, Gleb Veremiev, and Cameron Whitehead have all signed, and Lobs signs with the Rangers. Drafted him in the 4th round when he was here, and Whitey 4th round to the Vegas Golden Knights, and Gleb was a very highly sought after free agent who ultimately decided to sign with the New York Islanders, which was really cool. And then another one of my former players that played for me in Amarillo that just finished his career at Maine, Harrison Scott, just signed with the Dallas Stars. So a lot of guys getting opportunities to play pro hockey, which has been ultimately the real goal of what we do here is to, be a part of their developmental process from the time they enter junior till the time they go on to college hockey, and then ultimately to pro hockey. And so it's really nice to see, those guys played for us in their first year, my first year here, and they're off to pro hockey already. So it's funny how quickly that cycle goes. But I suspect they're not the last guys that we're going to see sign. It wouldn't shock me, and I have no information. Pure speculation wouldn't shock me if maybe somebody like Aiden Thompson signed, but we'll see. We'll see. It's very cool for those guys to get that opportunity, and certainly we played a great game on Saturday. We had hit a little bit of a rough spot there, which is typical for any team in a 62 game season. We also, obviously, as everyone knows, had a pretty emotional weekend that weekend before, and the losing Jared Haas, a beloved season ticket holder and friend for so many of us, and so I think that there was a combination of things going on there that led us to maybe not be as detailed as we should, but those are the breaks. And I think that we've got hockey in front of us. We control our destiny.
Yep.
We have a great weekend coming up against a very good opponent, and a busy weekend in Madison with 15U and 16U USA Hockey Nationals as well, being hosted there that weekend, or 16s and 18s, whatever it is. I don't remember. I think it's 15s and 16s. But it'll be a really exciting weekend for our fans and for our players, and selfishly for our staff. We get to double dip and watch some youth hockey while we're up in Madison, which will be really cool.
Yeah, looking forward to those 2 games. The top 2 teams for both conferences. The Stars, of course, atop the entire USHL in the Western Conference, and then on the Eastern Conference, Madison. It's been a mix of teams leading the East throughout this year. It's funny, I was looking at it earlier. Youngstown's in 4th. They've got, 77 points. Madison's only, 3 or 4 points ahead of them.
Three ahead.
Those top 4 teams in the Eastern Conference, who knows how deep some of them will go, but there's certainly a battle between them to try and get the top 2 seeds.
Those are all good clubs. Dubuque has kind of led the way for the majority of the season in the Eastern Conference, but Muskegon's right there, Youngstown's right there. Obviously, Madison's now ahead of that. For them, it's all about the bye, right? 2 of those teams are going to have to play in the first round of the playoffs, and the other 2 are going to be able to get the full week off. And for our conference, it was us for a while, and then for a stretch it was Sioux Falls, and Ryan Crothers was the one that coached the All-American game, wasn't me. And so that was because his team was in first place at the deadline when they chose those teams. And so he got to be the coach of that group. And then we were able to kind of surge past them. And it's been a battle in this side, right? It certainly hasn't been an easy situation by any stretch of the imagination. There's really good teams top to bottom in this conference. And, we lost a couple weeks to Fargo. They're sitting in 6th place right now. And so there are no nights off, and you just saw Des Moines. They're not playing playoff hockey this year, but they're a good club, and they didn't make it easy on us on Saturday. So, and even Omaha, for everything that Omaha went through this year, and as bad as they were from a record perspective, they're playing very good hockey right now, and they're a hard out every night.
Games.
Yeah, they're a hard out every night. They're playing well, and they're in 1-goal games on a consistent basis, and I think Folks has them going in the right direction.
Love to have you be part of the show. Text us or call us 402-464-5685. It's Outside the Box, chatting Lincoln Stars hockey, and what an exciting time. Maybe not today, shorts weather, but Rocky, you've said that phrase before, shorts and T-shirts weather. You're playing hockey when it matters most. You start to hand out the hardware. NCAA tournament is in a fun spot right now where we know the Frozen Four. It's a fun part of the year to be one of the teams that we're in the situation that we're in, heading into these final couple weeks of the regular season and already knowing that we've got that first round bye.
If you start the season coming to the rink in shorts and T-shirts, you want to end the season coming to the rink in shorts and T-shirts. That means you're playing playoff hockey deep into the spring, and that's our hope. Obviously, we're not exactly getting the spring weather right now. We got it a couple weeks ago, ironically enough, but the time is changing. The Masters is coming up. That's always another indicator that it's springtime. But you've got Frozen Four hockey at the Division I level. You've got playoffs right around the corner for all the junior leagues, and so it's an exciting time for our players and for our former players, and then obviously for our fans as they gear up to get ready for a playoff run here in Lincoln.
A lot to look forward to. And we should mention with this weekend's road trip coming up, we are going to be having a watch party at Big Ten Sports Bar and Grill. We've had several there. They've been a great partner. Make sure to stop by there, whether it's this Friday or maybe another night this week, 7 o'clock game on Friday when the Stars take on Madison. And we do have our playoff push pack available right now. You can get tickets now for the first 2 home playoff games for just $18. Head over to LincolnStars.com right now. Let's talk about that, having that first round bye, Rocky. This has been a goal we've talked about the last couple of years. We saw 2 years ago how much you need to have that in a lot of ways. You do have that this season, but it's one of those situations where it affords you that normal week, but it's going to be interesting because we're going to end the regular season on, April the 12th, and you're going to have a week to prepare for the next set of games over that course of that. It'll be nice to heal up the bodies, but let's project things a little bit. A couple of weeks from now, how do you see that kind of week going? Do you see that being business as normal? We practice as normal. How does that go? Take fans through what that'll be like.
It's a normal week, which is the massive benefit. You know, you're not sitting for a full playoff series. You're sitting for a 3-game deal, right? Monday, Tuesday, potentially Wednesday. You're going in and more than likely playing Friday and Saturday, and so it's a traditional week for our schedule. From a coaching perspective, it'll be a little bit different because we'll be prepping for both opponents, not knowing who will be playing, and that's fine. That's part of the deal. I suspect that'll be Waterloo and either Fargo or Tri-City at this point. I think is pretty fair to say.
Yeah,
I mean, with 4 games left, you don't know, but I don't think Sioux Falls or Sioux City can catch Waterloo. I don't think.
I don't believe so. I think Waterloo's got enough breathing room right now.
I'll have to just double check the standings, but that other scenario with Tri-City and Fargo is really tight.
Yeah, it is.
And
so we're the way it would go for fans who are curious. If the Stars are the number 1 seed, they would face the winner of 4 or 5. Which it'll be interesting, like you said, to see who that would end up being, because it sure looks like Waterloo is locked in at number 3 for right now. But
that's obviously assuming that we can finish the deal and finish 1, right? So there's a lot left to be done here. We need to finish first. That would give you the 4-5 winner, which would be Sioux City and either Fargo or Tri-City. If you finish second, you play the winner of Waterloo and one of those other opponents. Doesn't really matter. They're all great teams.
Absolutely.
And you've got to get out of this conference before you go anywhere else. And so that'll be interesting because yes, Waterloo has a 7-point lead. They both have 5 games left. I'd be curious to see what their schedules look like. I would suspect Waterloo can hold on to that 3 seed, but you never know. You never know. So we've got enough on our plate. Just trying to manage to hold on to the 1 seed here, and the good part is we know that we have the bye, which is always the goal, and certainly it's nice to win a conference title or to win an Anderson Cup, but those are just notches on the belt. That's not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to win a Clark Cup. Everybody knows that, and I don't think anybody remembers who won the conference or won the Anderson or who won the regular season title in the National Hockey League. It's who won the Stanley Cup. Yeah. And here it's who wins the Clark Cup. That's what really matters. And so we're excited for those goals, but those goals are not our be all end all. And if for some reason we don't reach them, it's not going to be a big deal. To be a blip on the screen as we continue to pursue the big goal.
It's funny talking about it. It's April 1st right now. Clark Cup gets handed out next month. How cool is that to say right there?
Well, it just, I tell the guys all the time, and you've heard me say it, like we report September 1st and we play a 62 game season. It's a long year. And, I tell them we need to be in the moment. We need to be where our feet are, because you're going to blink and we're going to be putting the Christmas tree up, and then you're going to blink again and it's going to be playoff time. And that's exactly what happened. I told the guys, look around. By the way, I told you before you know it, here it is. Christmas tree's up. Christmas tree's gone. Christmas tree's been gone for a couple months, by the way. It's not like it just came down. It's been gone for a couple months.
April 1st. Yeah.
It's April 1st. And life just seems to fly by, especially with hockey season. It almost feels like Groundhog Day. You have the same schedule every day for 6.5 days of the week, and you get a half a day off on Sunday, and you go and you do it again. And you break it up with the occasional midweek game, or unfortunately the rabid amount of 3-3s and 3-4s that we've had over the last month and a half. But that's part of it. You play the schedule that you've got, the hand that you're dealt, and everybody goes through that. I mean, Muskegon's a great team. They lost 2 out of 3 at home to Madison last weekend. Everybody has their ups and downs, and actually the team that Omaha beat before they went on their now infamous losing streak was Sioux Falls. So it's like you can't take anything for granted, and teams change so much throughout the course of the year, and players get better. The names sometimes change on the rosters, and the staff is trying to improve in certain areas with their teams and do what they can do to get better. And for us, we really liked our group, so we didn't make any changes at the trade deadline. We felt like we made our trade deadline additions earlier on, when we added Hunter and we added Bruno, and we felt good about where we were, and we still feel good about it.
Understandable. You get Bruno each in mid-December. Right now, he's second in the league in points per game. Hunter Anderson feels like he's got a point every night.
He does. He's just about a point a game since he's been with us, and he's been such an important part of our success, and really happy for him. He made his commitment to Minnesota Duluth last week, and things were not the right fit at Denver, and so he was able to swivel quickly. And
him and Schlainer just can't stay apart, can they?
Honestly, that was really probably a huge factor in that decision, because he had a lot of really other great opportunities on the table, and I think the chemistry that they have was something that was important to him. And Minnesota Duluth has a lot of our guys, and Luke Puckner's another one. He's an 08 on our list that's committed to Duluth, that plays at Shattuck St. Mary's, and he'll be down here eventually. And so, Coach Sandlin and that staff really like having their guys here with us. And so we develop them the best we can. They've got Klebs there right now doing good things, and they're really excited about the guys that they've added from our group this year with Cade and with Hunter, and then obviously Schlainer. So I think that there's a good understanding of how we play, and they like our players, and they know they're prepared.
Fun to have those types of connections. We've talked about it before with Cornell, 3 different guys going there, and it's been fun looking at the NCAA tournament, the way it's gone so far. There were 21 Stars alums on teams, and that every team in the Frozen Four has at least one alum. What are you predicting here for the Frozen Four, Rocky? There's been a couple surprises along the way.
You pick with your head, you pick with your heart. Like we've got, obviously, we've got relationships with all 4 of those teams, and I think that Western Michigan does a fantastic job. Pat Ferschweiler and Jason Herder do fantastic. They're wonderful. They play a very particular style, and they're great at it. They recruit players that fit that mold. I have a lot of a massive amount of respect for what David Carl and that staff, Tavis McMillan and Dallas Ferguson, have done there at Denver. The group at BU has been incredible. the Cinderella story is George Lewis and the Penn State Nittany Lions. And, George and I worked together for a long time. We worked together in Philly. We worked together in Amarillo. I brought him here with us. We worked together in Lincoln, and he's been now 3 years at Penn State, and he's one of the best hockey minds that I've ever been fortunate enough to work with. And, he just gets the game, and he understands how to teach it. He understands how to break it down. And, we've been sharing some video throughout the course of the year. He just sent me some of their neutral zone stuff a couple days ago. I was up. Everybody was asleep in my house last night, and I was trying to access some of the video that he had sent me. And I texted him expecting to hear back this morning. And 5 seconds later, I got an email. And so he texts me and he's like, "Oh yeah, hey, I had to change some of the permissions for you to be able to open that." And I was laughing. I go, "I figured you were up burning the midnight oil, getting ready for the Frozen Four." And he's got two little ones. They had twins, him and Chelsea, right before they left here in Lincoln. So they're about 3 years old now. So he was doing the same thing I was doing, put the family to bed, sit on the couch and cut video. And so we had a nice chuckle about that. We were chatting about how they're playing right now and some of their principles and their identity. And we overlap in a lot of ways. And I'm sure part of that is just because we have a lot of the same philosophies. And Guy Godowski and Fish and Pags and Sturtsy, that group is awesome. So, I'm not going to make a formal prediction here on the radio because I have such a massive amount of respect for all four staffs that are still playing hockey next weekend.
Absolutely. It's fun to watch down the stretch, guys getting closer and closer, finding ways to continue to keep their seasons going. Western Michigan's been a fantastic story. Penn State's been a remarkable one. Granted, the home ice advantage kind of helps a little bit in the tournament.
What an unbelievable advantage. And listen, I think Ben Barr is one of the best coaches in college hockey. He's everywhere he's gone, they've won. Providence, Union, you name it, UMass, wherever he was, they've always won. And he's done a great job at Maine. And I was really surprised to see that game go that way, but that is as much of a home game for Penn State as they can get, being in Allentown.
Worked out pretty
having
well.
Their logos on the ice, having their band in the stands, having the white out.
Oh, yeah.
Like that was absolutely a home game and a huge advantage for them. And I just really like the way they're playing right now. They're defending really well. Their neutral zone stuff is fantastic. They're killing penalties, blocking pucks. They're bought in to defend. And so, they had an awful first half of the season and an incredible run in the second half to get into the tournament. And I think they're tough out no matter who they play, just because of the way they play with their identity.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We actually do have a call coming in right now. Rocky, a little bit of a surprise here. This is a guy whose name you mentioned earlier, coordinated with him a little bit earlier today. Harrison, you want to let us know who's on the line?
Yeah, we got a special guest on the line here. I didn't quite get the name back there, so I know he's supposed to be on with the Stars.
Go ahead. It should be Cameron Whitehead joining. Cameron, do you hear us?
I can hear you.
Whitey, what's up, kid?
Not much. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. I'm really happy to hear from you. I was doing some renovations in my house last week, and your old billet dad Eric Reese was over the house helping me work the circular saw a little bit. And so that's when we were chatting about you and you getting the contract ink. I don't even think the ink was dry on the paper yet when we were talking. So congratulations. We're really excited about that. Where are you at now? You out in Vegas?
Yeah, I'm in Henderson right now. Got here 2 days ago. So.
And you're getting the your feet under you and getting going there. And I'm sure things are great. Tell us a little bit about, obviously that process when, you go from having a great year, you get a big win in the Hockey East tournament, unfortunately fall a little bit short. How does that process work where you go from, hey, I'm a student to now I'm a pro hockey player?
Yeah. For me, it was a tough decision to decide what I wanted to do, if I want to go back to school and play for another year or just, get on the starting line and try to play pro hockey. So it took me about like a week and a half, and the the urge to play pro just didn't leave, and it was, I've been dreaming of playing pro hockey since I was 3 years old. So I was, made that choice, and then there were a few days to sign the papers, and then 2 days after that, I'm on a flight to Henderson to practice with the team and just get comfortable and as a pro hockey player, and try to learn the ropes real quick. So,
well, we're really excited for you, Whitey. I know Eric and Candy are too. Obviously, your billet parents when you were here in Lincoln, and like I told you in the text when I sent it to you, Whitey's come such a long way. I mean, we drafted him. He was playing in the NCDC because all the leagues were closed in Canada during the COVID issue, and so he's playing in a small market, lower level junior program, just getting games in, and he comes in here. He has 2 great years for us. He gets drafted. He's 2 years into a college career, and all of a sudden, 5 years later, you're playing pro hockey, Whitey. It's such a whirlwind for you guys, and how quickly things are able to advance in your career. But it's fun to be a part of the development and the process, and really, I know your parents and your family are excited, but I would say that we're right there with them when it comes to being proud of you and what have been able to accomplish so far, and what's on the horizon for you coming down the pike.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it has been a long road, and a lot of ups, a lot of downs, but it's an exciting start to something new. So I'm excited to get going.
For those might be just joining us here, Cameron Whitehead, former Stars goaltender, on the line with us. He played for the team 2021 to 2023, was drafted by the Vegas Golden Knights in 2022, and just recently, earlier in March, signed an entry-level contract with them. Whitey, no billet parents out in Vegas. You got to get your own apartment there, don't you?
Yeah, I'm up in a hotel right now for the next few weeks, so it's different, but nice. Nice to have your own space.
Well, you've got a couple weeks left in the American League season, and then obviously once it kicks in full time, you'll be able to settle down a little bit and get yourself a nice little apartment, hopefully nice and far away from the strip and everywhere else there, so that you can stay focused
on the pucks,
on the goal at hand. I know when Eric is going to come out to visit you, it'll be half hockey and half Vegas. He's already told me he's an old pro in Vegas, so he's excited to come out to visit. But that's got to be an incredible place to play. Certainly the environment is special at the NHL level, and just having the American League and the National League team in the same area is such a benefit for those players to get up and down, get the development and the coaching from the big club right away, and hopefully move yourself up the ranks as fast as you can.
Yeah, I mean, they have such a nice setup. They did a really good job for, when we're at depth camp, it's we get to practice at the Vegas facility, and their AHL, their facility is like the exact same setup pretty much. So it's pretty cool how they made that the transition pretty easy for us. So
yeah, I think they had youth hockey nationals out there last year, and awesome. So that was a cool experience for those young kids to be able to go and play in that facility.
No doubt. Whitey, can we talk about your win a couple of weeks ago against Boston College? It almost feels like that's been forgotten in a way with signing this contract, but what a win that was for you guys at Northeastern. Just take us through the emotions of that night. It's something that I was very excited to see it went the way it did when our game wrapped up and I was checking some of the scores.
Yeah, I mean, it was a personal game for our team. It was a lot of emotions, and obviously they beat us pretty bad in the Bean Pie, and as a group, that hurt, and I was pretty, couldn't get lower than that for everyone in that locker room. So just to be able to band together and go into their building, have no fear, and just play hockey and have fun with it, and do whatever it took to win. It was an unreal feeling. Obviously, the major underdog, and that felt like winning something. That felt like winning a trophy to us. Just being able to put everything in the past and focus on the present moment, and just go out and win a hockey game. So it was a really cool experience for us.
I mean, that was one of those games, Rocky, at least for me. If you didn't know who Cameron Whitehead was already, you certainly did after that game.
Yeah, it's obviously you look at Big Bad BC at times, but I think that that the coaching staff there at Northeastern is doing a great job, and Jerry's been great, and Mike Levine is a friend of mine that I've known for pretty much all of my coaching career, and so he's a guy that's always pounding the pavement trying to get good players, and they've got two of our best coming in next year with Maltz and Jack, our captain and our alternate captain, and those guys are going to be able to provide reinforcements for that Northeastern program. And I think you're leaving it in a pretty good spot, Whitey. And I think that those guys are going to continue to develop and grow it. And it's funny because when Whitey committed to Northeastern, Cammie was just being born, and Whitey was playing his first game in the Fall Classic in Pittsburgh, and I wasn't even there. I was sitting at home. Cammie was still in the hospital with my wife. I was at home getting Ronnie a bath, and Whitey's stopping pucks, and my phone's just blowing up. And it's this coach and that coach. And I had on my phone before the game was even over 8 full scholarship offers sitting on the table for Whitey. And, it's funny how quickly things can move for a player in this league. And, I suspect that, Cameron, you're obviously pretty happy with the decision that you made after that whirlwind, and, very, very successful career in Lincoln, very successful career at Northeastern, and now on to pro hockey. So we're thrilled for you, Whitey, and we're excited. We can't wait to watch you play, and we know that you're going to have a lot of success at that level too.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm excited to get going. So.
Whitey, thank you for joining us on the line. Best of luck with Henderson. We'll be keeping tabs on you and hoping to hear lots of great stuff here continuing forward. Thanks again.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Whitey. Take care, kiddo. Thank you.
Yeah, that was Stars' former goaltender, Cameron Whitehead, played for the team 2021 to 2023, just signed his NHL entry-level contract with the Vegas Golden Knights. Great to hear from him here on the line. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we will have more to come here on Outside the Box. It's all coming to you here on 93.7 The Ticket.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
When opportunity knocks, you don't want to miss the call. Hamilton Business Technologies makes communication easy and efficient using customized technology, all while putting people first. Whether you're working from the office, at home, or on the go, Hamilton Business Technologies equips your business with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
LES wants your feedback. Help shape your electric utility's direction and priorities by taking an anonymous online survey. Make your voice heard before the survey closes on April 30th at les.com/survey.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Spring is here. It's time to get back outside and into proper shoes this year. Brown's Shoe Fit is the place to buy this spring with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $15 off any regular priced athletic shoes with respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, and On Running. And don't forget, Brown's carries a large arrangement of sizes and widths to fit your feet properly. Start your spring off right at Brown's Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln. Spring is the time of new beginnings and trying new things. If you haven't tried Führer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For parties for St. Patrick's Day and Easter or celebrating the NCAA tournament with friends, there's no better dip to bring everyone together and celebrate something from Nebraska. Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Your new Total Wine in Lincoln has the largest selection of wines, spirits, and beers, plus totally low prices and friendly service from our helpful guides. With over 8,000 wines, 4,500 spirits, and 2,500 beers, you're sure to find your favorites and something new. You can even order delivery, in-store, or curbside pickup. Find what you love what you find, only at Total Wine and More. Now open in Lincoln next to Gateway Mall.
Drink responsibly, B21.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
It's time for Outside the Box with Lincoln Stars head coach Rocky Russo and Lincoln Stars broadcaster Joel Norman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back again here on Outside the Box on 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Stars broadcaster Joel Norman, chatting with Jordan McAlpine, who, if you've been covering his, or if you've seen his work the last few years, you previously saw it at the rinklive.com. Jordan right now does a lot of different freelancing, covering both junior hockey and college hockey. And Jordan, it's great to be catching up with you once again here. It has been a little bit different year for you. Let's start off with that. You've been kind of doing a little bit more of the college game maybe than you necessarily did before.
Yeah, I've had a few people joke this year that it's getting back to the roots, so to speak, from being a student reporter and getting started covering more so the college game before. As you mentioned, spending the last 2 years or 2 seasons essentially at the Rink Live, but definitely been an adjustment doing the freelance route. At the same time, it's been fun. You talk to a lot of different coaches, scouts, executives, agents, whatever the case may be throughout the course of the season, and get maybe a little bit more different perspectives and kind of venture out into some other story angles and different routes. And at the same time, you're working for a lot of different companies. I guess some of the time it's a whirlwind to keep track of everything and stay on top of it. But at the end of the day, when you're wanted and still getting the chance to work in hockey and in sports, I guess I can't complain too much with it. So it's been fun and worked itself out at the end of the day.
For the people who did follow your work previously at the Rink Live, where are some places they can read what you write at right now?
Yeah, for USHL fans specifically, I've done some stuff with the Hockey News site this year. It's moved over onto a new platform called Roundtable. If you haven't, check it out there. I've done a few stories, more so feature stories for the league itself that have ran on the USHL website, and then also a few different places in Minnesota. Minnesota Hockey Magazine being the main one. I know earlier this season. With Showstock and Schlein, had a couple of Lincoln angles with that. Obviously, the Minnesota connections with their commitments to St. Cloud and Duluth. That I've done a decent amount of stuff on kind of the prep scene, if you will, and junior scene with them. But a lot of college stuff on top of it, and I'm sure it's something you and I will get into here as we talk. But we're less than 2 weeks from the Frozen Four. The first round of the regionals just kind of went off, and we have the field set here. So that's I guess that's been the main thing keeping me busy these last couple of weeks, doing a lot of stuff on College Hockey News and for a few other outlets around the country.
I do want to dive into the Frozen Four. There's a lot to talk about with that coming up. As you mentioned, begins April 10th, championship game on April 12th, and Stars fans are going to be very curious about the results of those games too, because there are Stars alumni on all four of those teams who will be competing in the Frozen Four. But I wanted to start with you just talking about the USHL season to this point. We've got 2 weeks left in the regular season, and I'm sure you're like I am, where it's like, geez, where the heck did the season go? Where we felt like we kind of blinked and this one's flying right by. And even if the weather's been a little inconsistent, there are a lot of signs that spring is in the air and that the Clark Cup is going to be handed out here this coming spring. Really looking forward to this end of the season, heading into the postseason, because there's a lot of different storylines, in my opinion. And I think if you're a Stars fan, you've enjoyed this season with them right now having the best record in the league. But Jordan, it kind of goes on this weekend. You get the top two teams in both conferences and what could be a Clark Cup final preview, Lincoln versus Madison. Tell me about it from you, just as an outsider looking in at this and someone covering junior hockey. Are you as excited as I'm sure a lot of people in Lincoln are about this coming weekend?
Yeah, it's definitely, as you mentioned, a potential Clark Cup preview, but at the same time, you look at the standings and, I mean, across the board, every team's got 4, maybe 5 games left. It's no secret that this weekend theoretically could decide the Anderson Cup too, with the league's team or the league's best regular season finish. Obviously, kind of the same story for Lincoln and Madison. They've been consistently among the teams, the best teams in the league throughout the season. I know it hasn't been a perfect season and went off without a hitch. Both teams have had some low points and kind of ebbs and flows along the way, but they've been battling at the top of those standings, both of which are at the top in their respective conferences right now. And you look at the two different teams. I know Lincoln all season long has gotten its contributions from its main cast of characters. Obviously, Jack Picard at the top of that. Showstack, it's no secret. You got Caleb Heelan between the pipes for Madison. You look at their lineup, Bobby Cowan, Riker Lee, who's been one of the league's top rookies. There's a lot of storylines with the individual players going head to head, but you just kind of look at the stats and they don't lie for either of these teams. Two of the more consistent, balanced lineups. They've been really good offensively and explosive there. They've shut it down defensively, and it's going to be interesting to see these teams go head to head. You'd know better than me off the top of my head. I don't know if they played earlier this fall or if this is the first matchup of the season.
Had one matchup. It was the first game of the year for the Stars. It was the second game of the year for Madison back on September 20th, 5-2 Lincoln win. So a lot's obviously changed since then, but yeah.
Well, and as you said, it's interesting. Like you always say it cliche that it feels like just yesterday we're out in Pittsburgh and the season was getting started. But at the same time, as we've both alluded to here, I mean, you're in the stretch run here. Only a handful of games left for each team. Maybe placement-wise, not up in the air, but your playoff field in the West is already decided. 4 of those spots in the East are already decided. That it's playoff hockey time now. That these matchups, you're going to have teams playing for their lives every night, and for seedings, first-round buys, everything else that comes with that. And I think this weekend in Madison is kind of going to be the prime example of that with these two teams going head to head here.
And there's so much on the line where the Anderson Cup chase, the Stars' magic number to win it is 5. They're saying that magic number of 5. They're 41-15-2 on the season. Madison's not too far behind them. Magic number of 12. But Jordan, that's the type of thing where you look at, if you're the Capitals, if you sweep this weekend, all of a sudden you completely flip the tide and you all of a sudden have a really realistic look at potentially winning the Anderson Cup, don't you?
Yeah, and point wise with the sweep, you do pull even, and then you got the head to head on top of it. But on top of the Anderson Cup, I mean, you know, and I know if that's the big thing, but at the same time, you look at kind of that Eastern Conference playoff picture right now. They're a point up on Dubuque, 2 points up on Muskegon. Youngstown's lurking 3 points back. You're really bottlenecked at the top right there. That obviously, as you've seen firsthand, and Stars fans have, the hope if you're a Lincoln fan looking at it is Lincoln takes care of business, plays at least gets one game up there and plays the way that they have here. But from Madison's perspective, this weekend's a real chance to kind of create some separation, make progress towards earning that first round bye, that number 1 seed, and in this sport, home ice seems to find its way and play an impact in a lot of series that I know if you're in that Madison locker room right now, you got to be licking your chops looking at these last 4 games, and on top of it, you have this weekend on home ice too. Prime example to kind of build up that cushion and buffer in the standings.
Now, no team's been better at home than the Madison Capitals. When playing in their rink, 21-4-1-1. They've won 8 of their last 9 games they've played in Middleton. This should be a heck of a challenge for the Stars who, you know, Jordan, really before this past weekend, they've been on like a kind of a tough lull. Their first one that we had really dealt with since, I would say, mid-December. But for a team to tell me about something like that, when you look at these angles, every team's going to go through slumps in the time of the year. Do you see slumps at a certain time of the year as more effective than others in the larger grand scheme of things when you look back at previous seasons and say, you know, okay, hey, that team kind of maybe they struggled early in the season, they picked it up and they were able to win the Clark Cup, or, you know, hey, this team hit a slide late in the year and that hurt their playoff chances.
Well, one other thing I'll throw in there too with Madison real quick. You mentioned the the home success form, but just generally speaking, 8 wins over their last 10 too. That they're peaking at the right time of year, which goes hand in hand with your other question there. There's never a great time to have a slump by any means in sports, but at the same time, you look at a lot of teams in a roundabout way, and an early season slump can almost help you in the long run with that ability to fight through it and kind of see what you're made of, learn a little bit about your group. It's the old cliche of if you can go through it and come out better on the other side, that you're battle tested for whatever comes your way down the season. I think from Lincoln's standpoint, the last few weeks, and I'm sure Rocky would be the first one to say it himself, they're maybe not firing on all cylinders the way they wanted to, but at the same time, you look at these last 2 games here, here's your chance to finish the season strong, and the biggest thing is put this slide in the rearview mirror, go into the playoffs on top of your game. And at this time of year, we've seen it in the NHL playoffs a number of times, we've seen it in the USHL, even look last year, and with Lincoln against Waterloo in that first round matchup. You go into a playoff series feeling good about yourself, playing a good brand of hockey, that you can quickly make people forget about any type of slumps or slides that you had throughout the course of the season. That I think the biggest thing these last handful of games is you want to make sure that you're playing your best at the most important time of year. And if you're Lincoln or any of these teams going into the playoffs, that most important time of the year starts here in about a week or 2.
The help for the Stars, they had just the one game to focus on last week. They won that one 6-2, taking down Des Moines. For you, Jordan, someone from the outside, I ask players and coaches as part of the Stars of this question a lot of times, you know, what makes this team so strong? For you as an outsider, when you look at Lincoln from afar, what's a big thing that if you're maybe an opponent, you're locking in on when you look at the Lincoln Stars?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing has been just kind of consistently throughout the year, the defensive aspect of that game. And I mean, you've seen a lot of offensive outbursts. I know there was a 9 spot on the board earlier this year. They've been in that 5-6 range a lot of nights. And as I said earlier, they've gotten contributions from up and down the lineup. And I guess this maybe goes back to last year a little bit. The biggest question coming into last season was that blue line. And you go back to 2 years ago, how much Lincoln lost and who's going to step up, who's going to go in their place. Last season, you saw that evolution of some of those guys. You look at a Jacob Rombeck, you look at Brown. I mean, a lot of these guys have continued to progress and take steps on there that I think they've defended well. And obviously Shostak and Will with kind of that goalie situation plays hand in hand with that, I'm sure. But I think, especially at this time of year where in a playoff series, you need to have a hot goaltender and be able to lock it down and win those 2-1, 3-2 kind of low scoring, tight checking contests. it bodes well in Lincoln's favor, and that's kind of a brand of hockey they've been able to play throughout much of the course of the season when they've been at their best.
It's amazing because you're exactly right, though. Think back a year ago, and the blue line was something they had a lot of work to do, where they did bring back a lot of guys this year, and even the newcomers, Etienne Lessard, Caden Harrington, have made such a huge difference. I mean, Lessard, third among all defensemen in points. Harrington leads them all in goals. And it's going to be interesting this weekend because they're going to be without Tanner Hendricks on Friday, who's 11th in the USHL among defensemen in points. So it'll kind of have to be that next man up mentality in a lot of ways. But the big thing for the Stars last weekend they were able to do was by defeating Des Moines, locked up that first round bye. Jordan, I think you know it as well as I do. It is almost impossible to win the Clark Cup without that first round bye. You would certainly argue. We saw it firsthand here 2 seasons ago where the Stars win the first round. They sweep Des Moines in the 2023 Clark Cup playoffs. They grind out a 3-game series victory against Waterloo back when it was a best-of-3 game series. And then they're tied up 1-1 with Fargo in the series, heading back to Lincoln. You're thinking, okay, all the momentum's going to the Stars. They're on home ice, and they drop both of those games. And I think anyone who was involved with that one, anyone who was watching it would say they just ran out of gas that year. I mean, just the number of games they were playing, but they're certainly putting themselves in a good spot this season, having that first round bye, aren't the Stars?
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head. And even I remember personally being down in Lincoln covering that series with the playoff format in the USHL. When you're talking 5-6 games potentially in a 7-8 day stretch, that at this time of year guys are banged and bruised and playing through all the little nicks and minor injuries and nagging stuff as it is, that you don't have that recovery time. On top of it, not only are you playing games, but you're playing where your season's potentially on the line every night. You're 110% for 60 minutes. That there comes the point that the body can only tolerate so much. I'm sure, especially at that age, with the junior level of it, that I know that's been a never-ending battle the last few years with some of the coaches and people around the league. But at the same time, it's what you sign up for and what you know you got to do at this time of year. That earning that first round bye, I don't really think there is a way to put a value on it. Just with as important as it is, it sets you up for the rest of the playoff run. Maybe 2, 3, 4 days you sit there and think about it. How big of a deal can it make when you're talking an extra 3-4 weeks down the line and you're in those conference finals and potentially Clark Cup finals? Those are the things you're going to look back on and realize how big of an impact it made on that team. And you go back 2 years now to that series against Fargo. Not only was it you're going against a team that had Marinov in the pipes, they had Cole Knuble in that lineup, Brett Link. You can keep going up and down the list.
Oh yeah,
it'd be one thing to be doing it when you're playing at full strength, to be playing the amount of hockey that Lincoln did in that picture or in that time frame leading up to it. Yes, there is a value of you're playing those games. You're playing it. If you're playing at your best and you're hot, it can work to your advantage, and you're on a roll there. But at the same time, I'm a firm believer that the rest aspect of that is going to be one of the biggest keys, and for Lincoln's sake, that they've got that spot locked up. And one other thing, I'll go back and be reminiscent to say on the last question you asked. Tanner Hendricks and especially Caden Harrington, kind of the offensive outburst and growth that those two have shown throughout the course of the season on that blue line. I think that's another big part of the equation, that you look at maybe some of the growing pains and cutting the teeth those guys did last year. You're seeing it now pay dividends in the late season playoff push on top of it. So.
Oh, no doubt about it. One of the best pairings, if not arguably the best pairing among defensemen in the USHL. And it's, going back again one last time, just with that series 2 years ago, I always say that Lincoln won 5 of 8 regular season meetings with Fargo 2 seasons ago. So you wonder.
It was a good matchup heading in.
And it was a really good match. I'm not saying the Stars on full rest win that series, because Fargo was a heck of a team, but I would have loved to have seen a rested Stars team against Fargo. I bet you it probably goes at least 5 games. And that's why it's just so important, because, you look at that East playoff picture right now. The first seeded Madison Capitals are only 3 points ahead of the 4th seeded Youngstown Phantoms. It's that tight. Youngstown is a sleeping giant almost at that 4th spot. They've been great. That's what to me is going to be so fun, is the Western Conference. You kind of have the top 2 teams. You have a tier below, I would argue. Again, not degrading anyone, but I'm saying you've got the top 2 teams, Lincoln, Sioux Falls. You've got Waterloo, a notch below, who could beat either one of them. in a playoff series. I'm not discounting them. I just mean points-wise, there's a little separation. And then you kind of have everyone else. And then, of course, Omaha, a little bit below everyone. Des Moines just got eliminated this past weekend. But the East is almost like a more gradual drop-off, 1 through 4. But then you've got a big divide between 4 and 5. And that's where it's going to be really interesting when the Clark Cup playoffs begin, because if you were assuming that you're going to take chalk in the first round, that 3 and 4 are probably going to move on, I don't think many people would think that would be crazy to say, because while Green Bay and Cedar Rapids are solid teams, they still haven't officially clinched. I think Green Bay just did the other day, but Cedar Rapids still has to officially. So it's interesting. It's really interesting heading down the stretch here, because there is a little bit of separation there. Jordan, we're going to take a quick break. Oh, you have one last thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, and I was going to add one thing with that playoff picture too. You look at it, and it's interesting in the West, as you kind of alluded to. You almost have 3 little pods with the top 2, 3, and 4, and 5 and 6 battling in that. And rosters have changed obviously from a year to year. But if you're Waterloo as the 3 seed, or even Sioux City in that 4, there's a good chance you got the defending Clark Cup champs waiting for you in the first round. And obviously rosters have turned over, but for the guys that return, most of that coaching staff, there's the experience factor. You look at Tri-City, maybe an up and down year, but they recent weeks have just added Cooper Simpson, one of the top players from Minnesota, into that lineup. There's no such thing as an easy matchup. And as you mentioned in the East, 1 through 4, the domino could theoretically fall any order, and you wouldn't be surprised. And all those teams have as good of a chance as each other to make a deep run here.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Jordan, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to chat a little bit about the NCAA tournament and the Frozen Four. This is Outside the Bunks on 93.7 The Ticket.
You grew up on cereal for breakfast and you graduated into drinking coffee at some point as an adult. Now there's a place in Lincoln where you can stay caffeinated but eat like you used to. Control Coffee and Cereal Bar brings Saturday morning vibes to every day with locally roasted specialty coffees, Lotus energy drinks, and tons of breakfast cereals with toppings. And did we mention they have video games to play while you're there too? Control Coffee and Cereal Bar open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the weekends at 15th and Pine Lake.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? Do you need a lawyer you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion? The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Contact us for a free consultation by calling 877-42-LIBERTY. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group, trial attorneys you can trust.
It's time for Outside the Box with Lincoln Stars head coach Rocky Russo and Lincoln Stars broadcaster Joel Norman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Last time here on Outside the Box, 93.7 The Ticket, chatting with Jordan McAlpine. I always want to say the Rink Live. Unfortunately, we can't anymore. Freelance writer right now, covering junior hockey and college hockey in various different outlets. Jordan, let's talk about the NCAA tournament here so far and the Frozen Four coming up. Any surprises for you to start the NCAA tournament? And if you say no, then you're lying, because Cornell defeated Michigan State in the first game. So in that first round, even a couple other ones that would have been surprising too. What did you think of the NCAA tournament here so far?
My bracket has been a clean sweep. Every game has been right. No, I'm just kidding. Definitely a lot of surprises along the way. You just mentioned Cornell. I'll be the first one to say it with Augustine between the pipes. The year Isaac Howard's had, Dowert, and then keep going up and down that lineup. But at Michigan State, I thought we were going to see them in St. Louis in a heartbeat. Then they get bounced round one. So welcome to playoff hockey at this time of year. I definitely throw Penn State in there too. Maybe not as much surprise. You look at the second half that team has had, and they've been unreal since the calendar flipped essentially. And you look at that lineup, Sergeyev between the pipes, Aiden Fink's been on a tear, Charlie Serrato, a kid that USHL fans are familiar with from the last couple of years, has played a big part in that too. And with that regional being in Allentown as the 4 seed with the 1 seed.
How did they look into that?
As I lovingly say, that I don't know if I'd say surprise as much on that front, but I mean my biggest takeaway, and also Minnesota thrown there too. I expected the Gophers to win that first round, but UMass is no slouch at the same time. Penalty call aside, I know that'll be the big talking point from that game. But just the biggest takeaway is entertaining games across the board. I mean, you look at that first round, Minnesota State and Alex Tracy give Western Michigan everything they can handle and go to double overtime. UMass and Minnesota on top of that. BC and Denver go neck and neck. I mean, even Bentley put a scare into that first round matchup too out east, and there's a lot of different angles. We can talk about the ice and in Manchester and kind of the issues with that. But I guess from start to finish in round one, just a really entertaining weekend, or 4 days, I guess I should say, of hockey, and it's really set the table for a couple intriguing matchups and a lot of talent that we're going to see here in St. Louis next week.
It's going to be a lot of fun. These final 2 games before the championship in the Frozen Four. Denver takes on Western Michigan, Penn State against Boston U. I mentioned it at the outset when you joined us, but there are Stars alums on all of those teams. So Denver has Boston Buckberger, who is hurt right now and not playing, Aiden Thompson as well. Western Michigan, Jack Messick, Owen Michaels, Cole Kreuzberg, Rosine. Penn State has Keaton Peters and Carter Shade, and then Boston University has Doug Grimes. So it's neat. If you're a Stars fan, you might be a little conflicted watching some of these games. But Jordan, give me your picks for those final 2 games in the semifinals.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you're a Star fan looking at it, you can't go wrong with no matter what, you're gonna have a winner. So
That's
no,
right.
I've been on the record saying it since pretty early in the fall. I think it's Western Michigan's year, just with the way from start to finish. And you look at early on, Hampton Sukinski's emerged obviously in the second half, but Cameron Rowe played a big factor in that. The way they've gotten play between the pipes, their blue line, Cole's been a big part of that. Jona Väisänen, who had a big year with Dubuque last year, has really stepped up, and they've added some transfers to that mix, and they've defended really well. And then the offense is the biggest thing. They're averaging over 4 goals a game. Alex Bump's been unreal throughout the course of the season. Owen Michaels has been a big part of it. I know Liam Valente, another kid they had a big weekend up in Fargo in the tournament. Just really like the matchup and against Denver for their sake, and it's going to be racehorse hockey, so to speak, with those 2 explosive lineups going head to head there. But I think Western Michigan's lineup has a lot of good makings, and I'll see them coming out of that side. And on the other side, it's a toss up. With the way they've been playing, part of me wants to lean Penn State, but it seems like they've had kind of a miraculous run up to this point. You might as well let it continue here, but I'll go with the experience factor. But like I said, give me Western over BU in the final on the Saturday night in St. Louis.
Wow. I have the same 2 teams being the championship, but I have BU as my pick of these final 2 here. I love the Penn State story. I love the Western Michigan story. I think it's 2 teams that, boy, they've been hot at the right time. I think Penn State definitely had a little bit of help getting those games being played in Allentown, Pennsylvania. I mean, look at the pictures. They had basically a full home crowd there. So
the home crowd.
Yeah. I didn't think they would win both games in that regional side, but I thought they would win the first one. So credit to them though for getting to this point. Again, I love the story of the Penn State hockey program with how it was able to be elevated from club hockey to that Division I level. I love those kinds, and I support every one of those because it's a great way to grow the sport in other markets. So, but I'm going to have BU winning that one, and I've got them beating Western Michigan for my picks. Well, it should be a lot of fun, but looking forward to those games coming up April 10th, and then, of course, the championship April 12th.
Yeah, and in BU's case, you look at that lineup, you can't go wrong. You got Hudson, Iserman, obviously a guy Lincoln fans are familiar with last 2 years, and Yegorov between the pipes, the story and kind of run he's been on for him. That a lot to like in that matchup, but I'm glad we see eye to eye on the same championship matchup either way.
It would be quite the story too if BU wins it all because of the Miguel Yegorov angle. You go from the worst team in the USHL to potentially the best team in NCAA college hockey. Jordan, that's going to wrap it up for us here this week. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you're going to look forward to these next couple of weeks. This is for me, this is the best time of the year for hockey. You're wearing shorts to the rink, and you're getting ready to hand out some trophies right down the line. Thanks for joining us.
Yep, anytime.